Interrupt you. Exactly. The Prime Minister. Let's go there live.
And of course, when we came here today, we went past the synchrotron, and another incredible piece of scientific infrastructure. Yesterday, I was announcing a very big piece of infrastructure, a dam in North Queensland, and that's important for the prosperity of our country, but so is the science infrastructure that we're standing in here, the synchrotron down the road, and the many other big investments that we have made on science infrastructure in this country. That's important because it drives the research and the development and the new technologies that will fuel so many Australian businesses and entrepreneurs and scientific advancements. And there is no place in the country that's doing it better than what's happening here in Victoria and in the electorate of Chisholm. We had the opportunity, Gladys, to meet some of them very new constituents who have come to this part of Melbourne because they can participate in a world-class facility like this. So boys and girls studying science today, when they go to school today and they're sitting there in that science lab, this would have to be one of the most exciting times for any young person studying science at school or university, because they are going into, should they choose to continue down that path, to one of the most exciting areas of Australia's economic advancement. And so today is another big investment in that future for science and technology, which is such a central part of our economic plan, because a stronger economy means a stronger future. And whether that's building dams, or whether that's investing in new clean energy technology and research, in particular hydrogen, or it's indeed investing in leading-edge, high-value vaccination manufacturing capabilities. This is Australia's future, and it's built on a very strong foundation of our traditional industries, whether in the resources sector or the agricultural sector. And so it's very exciting to be here today with Moderna. Last year, we announced that we had an in-principle agreement between the Commonwealth Government and Moderna for us to have the first manufacturing plant for the production of mRNA vaccines in the Southern Hemisphere. And today, we have inked that deal between the Commonwealth Government, the Australian Government and Moderna. And this means an Australian shot in the arm for our pandemic preparedness, for Australia's health, but also for the future of Australian manufacturing in the medical sphere. Medical manufacturing is one of the 6 core areas of our manufacturing plan, which is a core component of our economic plan. You know, over the course of this pandemic, Australia has demonstrated a resilience like few other countries in the world. We know that we have had one of the lowest death rates from COVID in the world. We have saved over 40,000 lives over the course of this pandemic right here in Australia. We have one of the highest vaccination rates in the world, and today we meet the 95% double-dose vaccination rate for Australia. And Greg, I can remember going back some years before we began the vaccination program last year, and they were asking us, what's the level you've got to get to when it comes to vaccinations? And the highest level that anyone ever anticipated as being necessary was 95%. Australia today meets that mark. And I think that shows the success of a program that has reached out to all corners of the country. But we've had an economy that has outperformed all of the G7 advanced economy nations in the world. Now, France, Germany, Italy, the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada. We've outstripped them all, both in jobs and in economic growth. And we've done that because we've had a resilience in our economy. We've invested in the strength of our economy by getting taxes down, by cutting red tape, by enhancing our data and digital capabilities, by ensuring affordable and reliable energy for our businesses, ensuring that we're investing in the skills and the infrastructure. And what this arrangement with Moderna does, a multi-billion-dollar investment, that provides for the future resilience of this country when it comes to not just pandemics, but many other areas in which we have to deliver vaccines. mRNA, before the pandemic began, was largely looked on as almost science fiction. And now it's a science reality. And it's a science reality here in manufacturing in Australia. There are few countries in the world that have been able to get to this point through the course of the pandemic, and certainly none in the Southern Hemisphere. Parts of North America and Europe which had these capabilities before the pandemic started. And now Australia moves into that league of nations on the basis of being able to deliver this here. Now, the reason we can do it is we've got the people, we've got the commitment, we've got the infrastructure, and it's all here in Melbourne. This is a hub for medical science, it's a hub for medical manufacturing, and it's a hub for science jobs. So I go back to where I started, with those kids going to school today and studying science. You have a very bright future because of what our government is doing here in partnership with Moderna today in ensuring that we will be at the leading edge of the manufacture of mRNA vaccines, not just here in Australia, but all around the world because of what will take place because of this far-sighted investment.